Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. So this year's Emmy nominations were recently announced, and Twin Peaks received several nominations, including David Lynch's nomination for Best Director in a Limited Series. But inexplicably, Twin Peaks itself didn't receive a nomination for Best Limited Series, and even more perplexing is the fact that none of the cast members were nominated for a performance in a limited series. Upon first discovering news of all these snubs, I found myself having a bit of a Jacoby moment.
And the fucks are at it again, wriggling, squirming, crawling on their bellies like foul maggots.
For me, I guess you could say there was a time when I had a passing interest in movie and television award shows, back in the 1990s. But I always thought the award shows were long and drawn out, and I always had a hard time taking them seriously. Especially when considering the case of the great Stanley Kubrick. The fact that someone like Stanley Kubrick never received Best Directing honors, this inherently devastates the credibility of these types of awards. Kubrick's body of work is nothing short of sensational. Paths of Glory, Lolita, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. 2001, A Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, The Shining, Full Metal Jacket. These were all powerhouse efforts from Kubrick that can all justifiably be considered among the greatest motion pictures of all time. So by the time 1999 rolled around, I was baffled that, despite a tremendous effort from David Lynch with The Straight Story, and despite an incredible effort from Kubrick, who had passed away earlier that year, with Eyes Wide Shut, neither Stanley Kubrick nor David Lynch was even nominated for Best Director. American Beauty was all the rage back then. And in fairness, I thought American Beauty was pretty decent, and I even thought Spacey's performance was admirable. But Best Acting honors? Really?
And the fucks are at it again.
For my worthless 2 cents, Richard Farnsworth's performance as Alvin Straight in The Straight Story was one of the most profound performances I've ever had the privilege of experiencing. You have a longtime veteran of the industry who started as a stuntman, transitioned his way into acting, and over the course of a long and decorated career, he puts on the performance of a lifetime at an advanced age. And they pass on him for what Spacey did in American Beauty?
And the fucks are at it again.
After that, I genuinely lost all interest in these type of award shows. And I know I'm mixing apples and oranges here a little bit, but Spacey getting the nod over Farnsworth completely turned me off to this sort of thing. In fact, it disgusted me. Fast forward 18 years to the unexpected triumphant return of Twin Peaks. Hard to believe it's been over a year since that happened. I can still remember the incredible excitement and anticipation as the hours counted down, and the thrilling chill that overwhelmed when we revisited the iconic moment when Laura Palmer tells FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper that she'll see him again in 25 years. And as this story unfolded, and the weeks passed by, and the experience of watching Lynch's vision take shape, the thought occurred to me that Twin Peaks ought to have been in line for a great number of television awards. As it turns out, in the case of the Emmy Awards, it did receive 9 nominations. But the fact that none of the cast members received any nominations, combined with the fact that Twin Peaks itself didn't receive a nomination for Best Limited Series, it's like Farnsworth losing to Spacey all over again.
And the fucks are at it again.
Whoever was in charge of the nominating process, they ought to share some of whatever it is they're smoking. Or maybe I need to share some of what I'm smoking with them. Because if Twin Peaks wasn't the best limited series in 2017, and if no one from the tremendous Twin Peaks cast was nominated, I have to question whether those involved in the nominating process even bothered to watch Twin Peaks: The Return. In terms of cast members, I think the entire cast was terrific. And as far as performances that I think were at least worthy of nominations, I think Naomi Watts and Laura Dern had strong cases, and I believe Miguel Ferrer, Michael Horse, Robert Forster, and David Lynch himself, that they all had strong cases in terms of outstanding performances among those getting the bulk of the screen time. Showtime gave a good push for all of them. And then beyond that, there were a slew of other sensational performances throughout Twin Peaks: The Return, where I imagine the size of the role would inherently have them slipped under the nominating radar. But someone please try and rationally explain to me, how the hell was Kyle MacLachlan not even nominated? To me, this is just inconceivable. I thought the performance by Kyle MacLachlan was nothing short of sensational. Watching the journey of FBI Special Agent Dale Cooper unfold with all of the setbacks and all of the roadblocks and all of the frustrating brilliance of twists and turns into the realm of the unexpected, Kyle's performance was magical. It was captivating and it was exhilarating. And this was true in all three of his parts, or perhaps really as many as 5 or 6 different roles. If Kyle isn't even being nominated for this type of award after such a superb effort, then really, what's the point of having these type of awards in the first place? I know that everyone has different individual tastes and personal preferences, and that my opinion is just that, my opinion. I'm just as full of shit as everyone else. But I truly believe that David Lynch did a fantastic job of bringing his vision to us in such a strange and wonderful way. After all of these years, this unlikely comeback delivered in refreshingly fresh fashion. I thought it was a powerhouse effort from Lynch, and it very well might be his greatest work of art to date, and I think that in itself speaks volumes. But all the same, Kyle was a key player in helping bring that vision to fruition, and the way he brought all of the Cooper characters to life. I do hope that David Lynch wins Best Director, and I hope him and Frost win Best Writer, and I hope that Peter Deming and Dwayne Dunham and all of the other Twin Peaks nominees sweep the awards where they did receive nominations. But all of this is already soured by the fact that Twin Peaks wasn't nominated as the Best Limited Series, and the fact that no cast members were nominated. Well, Kyle and Twin Peaks not receiving any nominations seems ridiculous. And if I could say just 2 words to the people responsible for the Emmy nominating process, I for one would quote our beloved Diane.
Fuck you.
Regardless of any awards that Twin Peaks may or may not be winning, I'm ever hopeful that the announcement for Season 4 might be just around the corner. But even if it's not, I'm still both thrilled and overjoyed that Season 3 ever came to be, and indeed, I will always be itching for more. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night.
And the fucks are at it again, wriggling, squirming, crawling on their bellies like foul maggots.